I've always liked fast music. You know, my sisters and my brother, my dad, they've always liked, like, 80s music, and I used to hate it when I was a kid. Used to hate all the 80s stuff, Toto, and they would always be blasting it, and I've always wanted faster music and, even louder than what they were doing. And my brother, he introduced me into a lot of, punk and heavy metal, and he introduced me to Napalm Death, and at the time, I didn't really understand it. To me, it was like a block of noise, but as the older I got into technical death metal and thrash especially, and he introduced me to Napalm Death, and at that time, when I was getting into heavier music, I understood it then, and I was like, oh, this is why they play it this fast, and this is why people like it fast, and, the older I got, I just wanted to go faster and faster and faster and more raw, technical death metal, it's like, really precise and really like, you practice your instrument and you want to execute the riff precisely. Whereas grindcore, to me, it's like, forget all that stuff, let loose, play, like shut up and play. Like, fuck the tabs, fuck the tempo, fuck all those numbers. Forget about that.
I mean, I like that grindcore can mean so many different things, To some people, it's like from God flesh to fear of God to like, where it branches off into power violence. Everyone has their own particular language. It's influenced by different aspects of different bands and stuff. It just always appealed to me being like the perfect medium ground between metal, punk rock, death metal, and everything in between. But being non-pretentious and to the point and silly and invigorating and all those things. But I do miss bands really having like segueing, having interludes of electronic music or interesting samples or some sort of drony noise kind of thing. It just doesn't happen as much, but to me it kind of makes it more of a cinematic experience. It tells more of a story. It adds a little more than just being like 1, 2, fuck you to it.
I play grind because it's one of the only genres of heavy music that encompasses so many things that I'm about, both musically and lyrically. It can be fast, it can be weird, it can be heavy, it can be nasty, it can be weird, like goofy and stupid. You can make grind however you want it to be, and out of all of the heavy genres I love, there's something in it that encompasses all of it in grind. And it's so fast and chaotic that my brain can't really identify it all the way. So it's like something that I'm figuring out and I'm comfortable with, like, yeah, this is ridiculous. I love it. Like, I don't know. If I can't, I don't get bored with it.
So like starting in the early 90s, me and my brother's father worked at a radio station, KERA 90.1. It's now NPR. They were NPR then, but they had a whole bunch of music programs interspersed from local DJs, and our dad did a jazz show, and it progressively got more open-minded. He incorporated a lot of different genres 20 years down the line. He would give us promo cassettes and CDs that they were just going to throw in the garbage. So he would just bring us stacks of these CDs and cassettes that he thought might pertain to our interests. So through that we got into a bunch of post-punk and punk rock and psychedelic stuff and some jazz stuff, free jazz stuff. It really was all over the map, but it really kind of formed me and my brother. And through that I got into Joy Division and Black Flag and Napalm Death by getting like like 3 different cassettes of, you know, From Enslavement to Obliteration, Unknown Pleasures, and Black Flag Damaged. So I just thought of that as punk rock. I just thought that was all punk, and I was like, man, what a vast world. It was really exciting. But through that, I just started doing more and more research, seeking out Napalm Death, and then connecting the dots from that to like you know, Repulsion and Siege, which happened some years before, might have been right up on the, you know, close to that time. And then doing my research through different zines that I'd find. I didn't have internet at the time. Reading thank you lists and other shit like that, and then just trying to find these other releases by other bands. So that's how I made the international connection to bands like Fear of God and stuff like that. And so it just became an obsession where I was just like, it was nothing that was easy to get into in Dallas. So everyone knew about its existence, but it was kind of an afterthought.
I don't want to be seen as a good vocalist or good bass player just because I'm a woman. I want to be judged the same way that everybody else does. And I can understand seeing a woman on stage and being like, wow, that's really cool, you don't see that a lot. But anything beyond that is tokenizing, and you know, you wouldn't think you're a great drummer just because you have red hair or something. Like, you know, that's ridiculous. Like, that doesn't make you play different, just like because I'm a woman, that doesn't make me play different either. I've been lucky to have not gotten a whole lot of misogynistic or backlash attitudes. It definitely does happen, but I feel like a lot of that has to do with me already knowing that that's going to happen and bracing myself for it by doing my research and by trying to match up to everybody else. And I shouldn't have to do that to be accepted. You know, I shouldn't have to do my research and know the albums and the members just to be like accepted. And now that I'm older, I don't do that anymore because I am who I am, and if I don't know something, that doesn't make me a poser or whatnot. So yeah, it takes a long time to kind of deal with the tokenizing and the misogynistic attitudes, but if you don't prepare yourself for it, you're gonna have a bad time.
That was our first tour, and we just did our second tour. The first tour was a lot better. I think it was really cool, like meeting all those people, you know, the Bandit dudes, you know, which I think they're fucking badass. Their recent release was really good to me, you know. But yeah, it was pretty cool, man. The shows, honestly, it was just like, you know, we're not getting paid a lot. We're just there to have fun. You can definitely tell some scene differences. Like here we have Deep Ellum, or what we're doing, you know, with Emma and everybody, Tyler Berry. Like, I'm real grateful to have this here in Dallas. Like, I'm real grateful that we're trying to do something grindy, you know, and we're trying to do something for everybody and ourselves. And it's no like drama going on or any of that going on. Everybody supports each other. We all try to be there. We all try to, you know, help out with gear or you know, just all try to help each other out for the greater good, being the show.
Started touring, I was really young. I hadn't been in a band. My first band was Creator Destroyer, and pretty much a couple months after that I went on my first tour to California, which was amazing because usually people have to work pretty hard to get their first tour going, so I was fortunate to just kind of be thrown in the fire. And playing the shows and being on the road was great, but dealing with certain people and just being humans can kind of be tiring after a while. But for the most part, if it weren't for being in that first tour, or the first 3 tours with Career Destroyer, I wouldn't have grown even closer to everyone involved with her now, and I wouldn't have kind of gotten my sea legs in music and knowing what I want to do and getting the confidence to do it. If it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't be in a band, or I would, but it'd be like my first band at 23 instead of like first band at 18, 19. It definitely helped lay the groundwork for what I want to do and helped give me the confidence to get up on stage and say what I want to say.
We hit that deer.
Yeah. We got a new van about 3 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, and 2 months after we got it, we hit a deer going 75 miles an hour, caused $8,000 of damage. But luckily we had insurance on it, so we paid like $500, but we were stuck in Dayton, Ohio for an entire week. So that was like probably the worst thing that happened on tour. I mean, it was fine, just sat around and watched movies for a week while we were stuck there.
Tour, but so many bad things happened, and I'm surprised we kept going and none of us got mad at each other or anything. Our van died in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico, about 3 hours or like 2 hours from any major cities. We had to get it towed to the nearest city, and even then there still wasn't any rental van places. We really wanted to play Summer Grind, and we thought that we were going to make some money on the way, so we rented a van, drove all the way to California, like something like 24 to 30 hours. Get to California, having a fun day at the beach, lose the keys to the rental van at the beach, gone forever. Had to pay extra money to get a replacement key. Get to Summer Grind, we're supposed to play at 6, things get pushed back. Supposed to play at 10, things get pushed back. Supposed to play at midnight. We have all of our stuff set up, ready to play. Keeps getting pushed back. 3 a.m. rolls around, and then they decide to shut the show down. And, you know, we, probably like 10 or 12 bands didn't get to play. A bunch of bands from Texas, Endless Swarm from Scotland in that area. You know, bands from across the world didn't get to play, but we were so mad that we just threw our gear on stage and played through one speaker, no lights, 3 a.m., drunk and angry as fuck. And yeah, it was one of the only times I was actually angry on stage. Like, just, we did all this work to get out there, and now we don't even get to play. They used our gear to backline the show. They used Todd's cab. They didn't tell us anything. They didn't pay us. Not that we really expect to, but it was rough.
And there's all those risks that you have to take if you're playing in a band like that. Just like, who knows what kind of shithole we might be playing, or what kind of miscommunication's happening, and if it, you know, wondering if it's even been promoted adequately, or if they'll have enough sufficient PA gear to get you a good sound. But I kind of like that strategic. That's one of the things that I really enjoy about this music, is the strategy, seeing it through against all odds, you know, even if all your equipment's falling apart and it's in some dilapidated shack, you know, that's fairly resourceless. Still, that's kind of what makes it fun, because whenever you pull it off, it's really rewarding.
We had a good time at the end of the day. A bunch of of people on Sunday, the next day, got together to get a show together for all the bands that didn't get to play. People from Texas, people from California, people that weren't even involved in summer grind, threw it together. And that was really cool to see parts of the DIY scene come together from across the country, not even the same scene. But, yeah, our first tour by ourselves, aside from all the band troubles and fest troubles, it was still good. We didn't rip each other's heads off, and we're still here.
I like to see the strain in grindcore and any extreme music that I'm into. I like, not that you have to be going absolutely insane, but I like the frenetic energy of it. And I love to see people getting it, but barely maintaining it. That's what's so invigorating about it, is holding on for dear life and being like, are we going to fuck this up? Is it going to just fall apart? And that's what's exciting about it. So I think that whenever, it's cool to be in a tight band, but I still think that what the bands that excite me the most are the ones that maintain that tension that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and them as well.
LA, dude. LA, we played with Bruce Campbell.
Okay.
And man, they were flying, They were fucking going crazy, and it's just like they were very welcoming, and there was a lot of welcoming bands, and they showed us how it's done. We went to some really lame places, dude. Like, yeah, it was pretty crazy. We stayed at like some punk house, and some guy got stabbed at night, the night before. So it was like this really weird vibe, but they were still welcoming, Like they were still there to buy merch, support each other, and, have a few beers, but it was still like a really sketchy environment, And in Spokane, Washington, there's, who else?
I mean, generally, every area of the country's got its better cities. It's kind of just, there's a lot of similarities between everywhere.
Yeah.
That's kind of the cool thing too, is it's like finding the like-minded people everywhere,
And dude, Las Vegas sucked. I'm just trying to be real here, we got there and it was just like, a fucking bar and nobody was there, maybe two people, and that was it was really depressing.
Last one! This one's a one to boogie to. Exclusively Iron Maiden. Kiss only cover set.
I think that's one of the more rewarding factors, is being, as you said, formulating something out of absolutely nothing, and it's really cool that you can get something so extreme without even being equipped with like good gear or anything. It's really about the spirit behind that, And I think that that's the exciting thing. I just like bare bones DIY raw as fuck stuff just for that alone, because you can just use like little remnants of what you have lying around and make something full-bodied and impactful out of it.
Every dog will have its day at some point. You know, every genre is gonna get out there somehow. Who knows when that'll be? Who knows where? You know, in certain areas in Europe, it's super popular. Here, not so much. But I don't think it necessarily belongs in the spotlight. But if it did, hopefully, it's one of the better, more honest genres of metal that gets out there. You know, there's a lot less shitty people in grind, a lot less shitty attitudes and ideals, so why shouldn't it be out there? Musically, it's a lot more intense, which I get, but mentally, I feel like it could exist.
I'll take one of the black or whatever. Okay. You gotta check and see if it's sticky first.
This one is sticky.
That one is? Here. Get one that's not sticky. You know what? I'm gonna get a gold. Going for the gold. Not the sticky one. They're all That one is also sticky. Jesus, okay. Not sticky. Confirmed, not sticky. Fuck yeah, okay. Jesus! Sick! Like, what the fuck? That's filthy. Sticky Loco. Is that the sour grape or the sour apple? The sour apple, wouldn't the grape one be purple?
Juice, dude.
Fuck. I got one of those. Which one I want? Dude, 4 Locos are 2 for 5, baby. That sounds god awful. I haven't eaten anything today, so let's get it. Original 4 Loco. Why did we order some for the show? Black market, some original Formula 4 Loco. Your 4 Loco section is filthy.
Shit, we're all posing.
Yeah,
We're just breathing. Just being alive, you're just being a poser.